Hello, I'm Glenn Ford, and welcome to a 5-minute presentation by Learning Creators. Now, this is the first of 3 presentations on this topic. So what's the topic? Well, it's probably the most common problem my customers ever complain of. Specifically, I'm talking about finding the time to write. Now, everyone has a slightly different cut on the problem. To one person, it might be, I don't have the time to write because I work all day. Another might say, I have to get my kids to school and soccer and football, and I just don't have the time to write. Or maybe it's a matter of, I don't want to start because I'm not sure people want to read it, and I don't want to waste the time. There's one common theme throughout all of these problems, talking about excuses. And you see, that tells me there's a problem. You see, there's a problem with problem solving. To solve any problem, you need to be solving the real problem. The problem that's underlying the problem. See, in North America especially, we have a tendency to state problems in terms of one particular solution. And we have a tendency to focus on symptoms and panaceas rather than looking at the actual causes and actual solutions. And unless you get unless you get into those actual causes, the actual problems, and the actual solutions, you're never going to solve the problem. And it's just going to continue. And it's going to go on and on and on and on. And, well, that means if you look around, you'll find all kinds of solutions to time problems, especially. Everyone seems to have a solution. For some gurus, it's figure out why you want to do this, and that'll carry you through. Do it, and once you know why you want to do it, you won't have any problems. And then, of course, there's the new agey gurus. Hey, visualize the result if you do it. Magic will happen. The universe will support you. And, of course, there's always the disciplinarian in the bunch who says, shut up, sit down, write, stop crying about it. They don't give you any room. Of course, they don't really give you a solution, but that's another matter entirely. Now, the problem with all of those solutions is simple. They don't seem to work. You try it just doesn't seem to sustain you. So you still haven't got the time to write, so you go on and you try someone else who says basically the same thing, and guess what? It still doesn't work. So you start thinking it's your fault. Well, guess what? It really isn't. If you knew the real problem, you'd be able to solve it. If you don't know the real problem, you're not going to solve it. Okay, and that's really what we're going to focus on today, is simply identifying the real problem. So what is the real problem? It's quite simple. You want to write a book or create a course or whatever it is you want to do, but it never seems to happen. Well, duh. I know it sounds really silly and simplistic. That's what you're trying to accomplish is, and that's your problem. You want to write the book, but you can't seem to get it together. That's your problem, not the time. You can't get the problem started. See, what's happened is we focused on time as a potential solution, but it's only one solution. It doesn't mean that you're going to solve it. So therefore, even if you find the time, that doesn't mean that you're going to actually sit down and finish your book. In order to solve the problem, you need to get in behind the problem. You need to explore the situation deeper and know what's caused the situation. And if we sit down and look at it a little bit closer, what it turns out is that how much writing you do is a combination of 5 different elements. Your desire to write, the amount of time you spend, how hard it is to write, how quickly you can start writing, and how effective you are at writing. Now, we can combine the last 3 together to make things a little bit easier to understand, but basically you're going to have 3 different issues that you need to deal with. If you don't deal with all of them, then of course you'll never be able to write. Now, we can call the result the work equation. The amount of work you get done is proportional to the effort involved in writing, your desire to write, and how much time you have available. Right? So how much time you write is going to affect it. If you aren't writing, you've allowed one of these elements to overload the function. Something, we don't know what at this point, is out of step with the rest of the function. The result is that you aren't getting anything done. I guess what's the solution? Well, that's the topic of our next 5-minute presentation. I hope you'll join us again in a day or so and follow along. I also hope you found this presentation has helped you get a better handle on your own problems. on finding the time to write, and that you'll join us for the rest of the presentations. I'm Glenn Ford. Welcome, and get writing.